Hey there, my name is AJ Pickett and I make videos about role-playing games, and lots of them. I upload twice a week with a live stream every weekend. You can also find me on Subscribestar, Patreon and Discord, Facebook and Twitter. Also, there's an option to join the channel as a member, and I welcome any questions you have in the comments section down below. If you like this video or this channel, I welcome you to subscribe to this channel, and it's a very friendly community. Another celestial creature today. These are gentle, unassuming, loyal and boundlessly cute little creatures called the Hollyphant. And you can find them all over the upper planes, from the 7 mounting heavens of Celestia to the epic peaks of the blessed fields of Elysium, to the orderly orchards of Arcadia and the boundless forests of the happy hunting grounds. They are ubiquitous, found everywhere. Who knows how many there are? Certainly they number in the billions, considering that many of the outer planes are infinite in size, so keep that in mind as we learn more about these surprising creatures. Hollyphants vary a little in appearance, but typically they are small, about 2 feet in length, with stocky little bodies and short, sturdy limbs. They have soft, golden fur that glows faintly with a warm yellow light, and look very much like tiny elephants. Their eyes are small and bright with rainbow hues, and they have small, stubby tusks, though the most striking thing about them is that a pair of usually pearl-white feathered wings sprout from their back. They're amazingly agile and fast flyers, spending a great deal of their time hovering and fluttering about, but when they decide to get moving, they rip through the air at a base speed of 120 feet per round. They are very clearly celestial creatures, completely at home in the upper planes. Their habitats range from the fields of huge and gorgeous flowers. They flutter around like somewhat bizarre-looking bumblebees, trailing glittering puffs of heavenly pollen in their wake, or swooping around the cascading waterfalls, a riot of rainbows in the glowing mists, with the Hollyphants pausing to pluck perfectly ripe plums, cherries, cranberries, and lots of lotus flowers and so on. They are also common in inhabited settlements and the dwelling places of divine beings, ambling around with serving platters, laden with sumptuous snacks, refilling crystal goblets with exotic liqueurs from across the multiverse, fetching bath towels, cleaning windows, plumping cushions. They are not domesticated or obligated. They do these little tasks happily because they want to be around happy beings and deeply enjoy helping others with no thought of reward or compensation, other than the satisfaction of doing nice things. Now that being said, their quite harmless, even comical appearance has proven the downfall of many evil creatures that grossly underestimate their significant magical and psionic power. Some sages speculate that Hollyphants really are spirits or manifestations of some kind, since nature would never have given birth to such a silly-looking creature. Hollyphant seems sincerely offended by this view, and may take steps to teach a vocal detractor a lesson. These are certainly celestial creatures native to the outer planes, infused with the power of divine rulers of the multiverse. The very fundamental matter and energy of these planes is boundless. They are infinite crucibles of creation. Gods can literally will things into existence in the upper planes. The planes are categorized as divinely morphic, and Hollyphants possessed quite strong psychic powers. So there's your first warning. There's much more to the happy little Hollyphants than meets the eye. We do have a current stat block for the Hollyphants in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, thanks to one of them showing up in the adventure called Descent into Avernus, and I will be talking specifically about Lulu the Hollyphant later in this video. Hollyphants are small celestials of a lawful good alignment that treasure friendship and honesty. They have a natural armor class of 18 and 8d6 plus 8, or between 16 and 56 hit points. They have similar physical stats to a fit and healthy human, but are highly intelligent with a score of 16, exceptionally perceptive and intuitive with a wisdom of 19, and quite charming with a charisma of 16. They scoot about on their little legs at a speed of 20 feet per round, but their base flying speed is 120 feet per round. Their wings are small but beat like a hummingbird, and they are much, much faster when they make use of the strong gales of Eronia or the challenging gusts within the tall peaks of Solania. They are the favoured companion of the winged angels, who make use of them as messengers and helpers. And with many creatures native to the upper planes, they can just not abide evil. If they bear witness to it, and I remind you, they have an extreme wisdom stat, so their passive perception is 14. And while they don't have any listed bonus to perception checks, their high score gives them a +4 anyway, so they are alert for signs of evil. If there happen to be a lot of them around, they will swarm the evil creature and attack it. Otherwise, they wouldn't hurt a fly. These are lovely little creatures. Hollyphants can speak and have telepathy out to a range of 120 feet. They are highly intelligent, very empathic, always happy to provide aid, particularly when people are lost and asking for directions. They are totally immune to all poisons and take half damage from any non-magical physical attacks. Their speed provides them with a +3 to dexterity saving throws, their celestial vitality gives them +4 to constitution saving throws, and their irrepressible goodness provides a hefty +6 to all charisma saving throws. They have a range of innate spell-like abilities based on their wisdom, so their spell save difficulty class, or DC, is 15, and they can cast Light at will. Twice a day they can also cast Bless, Cure Wounds, and Protection from Evil and Good. Once per day they can cast Banishment, Heal, Raise Dead, and a special kind of shape change, and also Teleport, with no chance of error. All their physical attacks do count as magical weapons of goodness, and their little tusks are +3 to hit one target within 5 feet for 1d6 piercing damage. They are not really well suited to physical combat, being so small and cute, but they do have a rather impressive power to channel radiant power through their lungs and project it out of their agile little trunk. This blast creates a 30-foot long cone of either thundering sound that can be heard up to 600 feet away and inflicts 5d6 thunder damage and deafness in any creature that fails a DC 14 Constitution saving throw, or half damage and no deafness if they make the saving throw. Inanimate, non-magical objects that are not being held or worn by creatures take 10d6 thunder damage, which means the trumpet blast, if you read between the lines there, is effectively a siege weapon. A combined group attack by masses of Hollyphants can rip apart fortified castle walls without much problem. They can instead opt to project a sparkling radiant cone of energy that has no effect on good creatures. Neutral creatures must make a DC 14 Constitution saving throw or take 4d8 +4 radiant damage. If they make the save, they take half that damage. Evil creatures, same DC and damage, but they roll their saving throw at disadvantage. Hollyphants always go to great lengths to avoid fights with good, aligned, or even neutral creatures. Evil creatures are another matter entirely. A Hollyphant will look for ways to harass or hinder an evil creature unless its mission is so pressing that it can't spare the time. Even if the evil is too powerful for a Hollyphant to overcome on its own, it will try to alert powerful good creatures to the evil's presence, or make an effort to delay or misdirect the enemy. They are highly effective thanks to their agility, speed, and their ability to teleport and unleash those roaring trumpet blasts. Plus, unless they actively concentrate to suppress the ability, as long as the Hollyphant is alive, it automatically radiates an innate aura of invulnerability in any physical form they take. This aura is a 10-foot radius sphere around the Hollyphant that just stops any spell of level 5 or lower, just stops at the end of the aura. It will not affect creatures or objects within that aura. Even if the 5th level spell is cast at a highest level spell slot, even if the spell is cast specifically targeting a creature or object within the aura, or has an area of effect that encompasses the aura, the spell just doesn't have any effect within that aura. So the Hollyphant is invulnerable, as would be any adjacent creature or object within that 10-foot zone. Obviously, this zone is centered on the Hollyphant and moves with them. It operates even if the Hollyphant is unconscious. Keep this in mind later on when you consider that the Hollyphant may be acting as a mount, so it extends to protect the rider. So those features are pretty impressive, but it's the Hollyphant's ability to shape change once per day that is the doom of countless foes throughout the ages. The Hollyphant only transforms into one specific form, and that is a massive, very powerful, slightly larger than full-size celestial mammoth that has a biped stance. Now, I know that the monster manual says a mammoth is 12 feet tall, but Hollyphants transform into a really big mammoth. This would be the same as the North American imperial mammoth, which attained a height of just over 13 feet or 4 meters at the shoulder, measured that way because it's a quadruped. And the largest males could tip the scales at just over 12 tons. So imagine that creature standing up on its hind legs, so we're talking like 18 feet tall, and the enormous span of those leather wings with long, curved, and wickedly sharp tusks that could easily skewer right through a person and just pin them to the ground, or toss them with a casual flick of its head. So, looking at 5th edition stats for the mammoth, the transformed Hollyphant grows to huge size, and its strength now becomes 24. Because the Hollyphant can easily drop to all fours and use their formidable size in all limbs, they count as one size category larger when determining their carrying capacity and the weight they can push or drag. With a strength that high, this means they can lift 5,760 pounds or 2,612 kilograms and carry or drag up to 2,880 pounds or 1,306 kilograms. However, one of the shortcomings of Dungeons & Dragons is that the Hollyphant also weighs over 10 tons, and if you give them something to lean into, they can apply their body mass along with that strength to do things like push over oak trees, and with a decent bit of speed, they can body slam elder dragons, which is where I point out that the Hollyphant retains the exact same flight speed in this much, much larger form. Also, this is more than just casting a set version of the shapeshift spell. According to the lore from older editions, when observed by a being that has true sight, the ability to see past illusions and things, they appear to be a 2-foot-long mini elephant and the towering form of the full-sized mammoth at the same time. These are both their true form, but we simply handle the transformation by using the spell because it's easier to work out at the game table. Another implication of this is that the shape change can't be dispelled because it is also the true form of the Hollyphant. In the massive form of a flying mammoth, their dexterity drops a couple of points and their armor class lowers to 13 because they are now huge, thus easier to hit. Their constitution score raises to 21 and they get a lot of hit points, 11 d12 plus 55 for between 66 and 187 with an average of 126. Their walking speed also increases to 40 feet per round, and remember, unless carting something or someone around, they normally walk on 2 feet. They are bipeds, though their stubby fingers have very poor fine control. Their trunk is as functional as a hand, just like any elephant. They gain the ability to trample targets if they get at least 20 feet of movement straight toward a creature and hit with their much more impressive gore attack, which is plus 10 to hit one target with a 10-foot reach, inflicting 4d8 plus 7 piercing damage. That also counts as a magical weapon. That target must succeed on a DC 18 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. And once prone, the Hollyphant can make one stomp attack against it as a bonus action. The stomp, also plus 10 to hit, with a 5-foot reach inflicts 4d10 plus 7 magical bludgeoning damage to a prone creature. I'd also allow them just use this attack against small or tiny evil creatures that get too close. In this huge form, the Hollyphant can still use its spell-like abilities and its trumpeting trunk attacks with blasting cones of thunderous sound or cones of radiant energy that rips into evil creatures. In previous edition, the Hollyphants had the power to attempt to open a magical gate once per day with a 50% chance of success. When active, the gate had a 70% chance that another Hollyphant would arrive, and there's also a 30% chance that a Diva Angel would show up instead. Oh yeah, if removed, a Hollyphant's tusk can be ground into a magical powder that transforms water or wine into an elixir of health. Good to know. Hollyphants have a surprisingly strong sense of mischief and love a good prank or jest, but make no mistake, these are not fickle fey creatures. They are stalwart, divine beings that don't even really need to eat, sleep or drink. They just do so because they enjoy it. They're often found wandering along in far-flung places, aiding adventurers and heroes on behalf of the powers of good, and that brings us to the sad tale of Lulu, a Hollyphant one could encounter all the way down in the plane of Avernus. I won't spoil any of the details of the published adventure Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus because it's a good one and I recommend that you play it. But I can tell you that Lulu was the friend of and combat mount of the solar angel named Zariel, who served the god Lathander and was a staunch enemy of the forces of the Abyss. Tasked by Lathander with protecting his faithful, she engaged in combat with the forces of the demon lord Yenogu, and this was just one more fight after many centuries with Lulu at her side. But events unfolded, and Zariel finally decided to take the fight to the enemy, charging into the lower planes. Seeing as Zariel is now an archdevil, you can guess that this did not go well for her, but her intentions were good, and even in her transformed state, she could not bring herself to harm her friend Lulu, whose magic and memories had been stripped from her by the exposure to the waters of the river Styx. Sent back to the world of Toril, Lulu now resides with her friend Salvira Savicus, one of the great readers, a master sage of Candlekeep, and one of the foremost experts on the outer planes in the entire continent of Faerun. Please hit the like button if you made it this far, subscribe if you like what I do, check out my Subscribestar or Patreon links for all the full scripts for these videos, buy some Teespring merchandise, wear your geek with pride, and as always, thanks for listening, and I'll be back with more for you very soon.